This event in specific and this group in front of me is a group that is very important to us in the UAE, because as a country we have always been embracing future foresight and trying to work towards understanding what the future may hold. It is not out of luxury, it was a necessity, and for decades, centuries and millennia our survival depended on how well we forecast the future and how well we can foresee what challenges and opportunities may come about. 4,000 years ago, Dubai was a place on the map. Against conventional wisdom, people think that only the great civilizations of the time were around for millennia ago. But Dubai was there, and it was a trading hub between the East and West at the time. The Pharaohic civilization and the Indian civilization at the time. What made Dubai at that point of time be a relevant place globally, and I urge all of you to go to Saruq al-Hadith, which is a museum here in Dubai, is that the people in this region saw that there's an advantage in our geography. So there's an advantage to being a hub where both civilizations can feel like they have equal playing field and playing ground to trade, to operate, and to embrace each other. 100 years ago, Dubai has always pivoted, changed, and embraced whatever change was around it. What makes this a necessity is in our part of the world, every single day is a challenge. Finding food and water, understanding what the weather may hold, and also trying to foresee what supply chain disruptions are going to come about and how it's going to affect our people, and being able to survive in the Middle East at that point of time. Recently, it has moved from being a necessity to being a pedagogy, to being a discipline, to being a guidebook that helps us understand how we can make sure that we can keep growing, that we can keep attracting the best and the brightest, and we can shape the future rather than being reactive to it. Let me give you a few examples. If you think about what makes Dubai and UAE successful, it is not the infinite resources that some news outlets or some individuals will think we have. It is not in our ability to think better than anyone or because we believe that we are better than other civilizations. There are two secrets. The first is we embrace all ideas, we embrace all individuals, and we let people from around the world believe that if they have a dream and they want to achieve it, it is the UAE and it is Dubai that they need to go to make that vision into a reality. A great testimony to this is the 200 nationalities that call Dubai and the UAE home. And the fact that everything we've seen that is futuristic is built by everyone. It is not built by people wearing fedoras only, it is built by people with different backgrounds, different cultures coming from around the world, believing that this vision can be true. We're also blessed to have leaders that live with future foresight as a very important ethos. Historically, in our region, in our culture, future foresight has been ingrained in how we try to take decisions and who we go to for decision making. Let me give you a simple term that we use. Ilm al-farasa. Ilm al-farasa literally translates to the ability to see the future. And this has been around here in the Middle East and here in our country for thousands of years. If you look at the historic poetry, if you look at any written documentation of history, you see that people embraced and appreciated those who had ilm al-farasa, the ability to see the future, because it was very important. If you also look at how people converse in the Middle East, the first thing we say is hello, or peace be upon you. The second thing we ask is how are you? And the third thing we ask is shul akhbar, what are the news? And you might ask yourself, why are people asking about the news? Why is it when I see someone I ask about the news? It's because you need to understand the variables and how they're going to affect you. A person coming from afar, when you ask him what the news are, he or she can tell you that there is a drought in a specific area, that there is a revolt or revolution in another country, that there is an issue that will affect you from a supply chain perspective, that will affect you from a social perspective, or that is going to impact you as an individual. Foresight has been ingrained in us. And today we are blessed are individuals that have ilm al-farasa and embrace people who see the future and who try to work on changing it rather than just adapting to it. Two resonating examples to how the UAE and Dubai has shaped the future and embraced it and did not just take it as it came along was in two simple examples that might actually have been things that you experienced on your way here. The first is Emirates Airlines. We hear about these Emirates Airlines, we hear about the success of Emirates Airlines, and we need to think about why Dubai decided to embark on creating an airline in the Middle East, and why our founding father of Dubai, the late Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum, and the current ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, actually wanted to create an airline in the Middle East at 4 bases, and why it was going to be successful. The answer was in seeing technological change and understanding what that meant. To move from one place to another, there was a hop and stop route. You would go from Dubai to Doha, from Doha to Beirut, from Beirut to Turkey, from Turkey to London. And it made no sense for Dubai to be a hub for transportation at that point of time. But at one point of time, His Highness Sheikh Rashid and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed saw that airplanes were changing. Long-haul flight was going to become a reality. And that meant that our geographical advantage made sense for us to start an airline and to shape the future of aviation. Foresight and execution. Another example is the way that we embrace unknowns. In many countries around the world, in many institutions around the world, the unknowns are seen as negative. If I do not know something, I should shun it or wait until someone does something about it. The way we operate is if there is an unknown, we need to first look at the opportunities that will come out of it, and then think about what are the potential negatives and what that means for us in dealing with these negatives. The media and the internet. In 2000, the internet was seen as a trend or a technology that had a lot of promise. Some people thought of it as a fad. At that point of time, we were an emerging hub, but we were not known for technology. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid said, we want to dedicate a city for the internet. Not a small office, not a specific team or individual, a city. Dubai Internet City. He started with a loan, a $200 million loan from HSBC. And what you need to think about is what would make someone take such a bet with such conviction that I am going to risk everything to be part of this trend and part of this technology. It's having the foresight and putting whatever is necessary to ensure that you can actually play a role in that future. The other thing that might have been seen as a coincidence, but was actually the result of proper planning, was the fact that His Highness actually took another loan and started another city next to it called the Dubai Media City. What is interesting is that Dubai was neither a technology hub and it wasn't a media hub at that point of time. So if you ask conventional wisdom, if you look at people who did not have foresight at the time, they would have told you that there's a very high likelihood that one of these two cities is going to fail. And one of the other trends that you could have seen at that point of time is the fact that there were already hubs for technology and hubs for media in the region. Lebanon was the media hub of the region, and if we look at India, if we look at Israel, they were hubs for technology in the region. It made no sense why Dubai is going to compete in that role, and why this leader is going to take such a big bet, take millions of dollars as a loan to invest in these two sectors, and why he would put them next to each other. Again, we had such vast amounts of land, it would have made sense to put them separately and to hope one of them grows and becomes a success. The fact of the matter is, there are so many variables around us that shape our future. And trying to understand what these variables are and embracing the unknowns is what makes us succeed and what makes certain people fail. This event in specific is an event that is important to us because it is going to dictate how we as a country are going to move to 2071. We believe in forecasting the future and embracing change, but in also constantly seeking the advice and the expertise of those who are able to see a different point of view, and those who are willing to show us what we are not currently seeing. I wish you all a great success in this event, and I would like to tell you one thing that you should take back from this session and hopefully from this forum. Dubai was built by people from around the world with a spark in their eyes. It was built by unleashing the potential of individuals that don't dare, or always dare, to dream big. So dream big, tell us what needs to happen, and work with us to make it a reality. Thank you very much.